Hey there, internet friends. Trevor Starkey here with another episode of What I Feel Like Fridays. As you can tell, I'm in a different configuration. This is basically a test run. I'm running this off of a new laptop that I'm hoping I will be able to take with me on the road to E3 and do some vlogs from there. So here's the test run of my new temporary setup for the road. So for What I Feel Like Friday this week, I wanted to talk about Kinda Funny Live 3. I won't go into kind of the play-by-play of everything that I did and everybody I got to talk to. You can find that in the description below. I'll have the link to kind of all of my stuff that I wrote up on Trevor Trove. But instead, I want to talk about a general sense of melancholy that I've kind of had in the days since returning home this week. Now, it's not uncommon that you go through like a little bit of a depression after going to these kind of conventions. It's certainly something I felt along the way, and there's definitely a component of it that is that I'm feeling right now. But I'm also sad that I didn't get to spend more time and talk to more people at the event itself. One of the people I did get to talk to at length was Ian from OK Beast, visiting out from Japan, and we talked a little bit about my background in theater. And one of the things I talked about was I, in part, got out of theater and traded it in for kind of this video game and this kind of funny community because I was feeling very burnt out on doing a show, doing a play, becoming really intense with people for 3 months, building up these incredible friendships, and then a show would end, we all go off to our next show, and nobody had time for each other anymore. And emotionally and mentally, that was taking a toll on me because I felt like I was putting in so much more into those friendships that then suddenly just completely dried up and people didn't have time for me. And it hurt. There was definitely a sense of loss kind of after every show. And at this Kind of Funny Live was the first time I really felt that kind of sensation creeping back into my life. I've been very blessed in the last few years that I've just been able to kind of add new friends show after show after show. And there are definitely times where I don't get to spend as much time with people that I want at something like a PlayStation experience or a PAX, but I tend to get to meet new people at each of those events that kind of help offset that. And it's not that I didn't meet new people, I met a ton of people. And at Kind of Funny Live, there were people that I wanted to spend more time with and didn't get to. And that sucks in a huge realistic sense. And I don't think there was any malice to that. I think people just were busy with other people, and I historically recognize that I keep people kind of at arm's length a lot of times, so I'm not necessarily going to be somebody's best friend in the like hierarchical sense. Best friend in the community sense, sure, but there are people that I put up there as like, this is a person I want to dedicate and spend time with, and I know that that's not always reciprocated in that level. I often kind of think of myself as, I'm not going to be somebody's best friend, but hopefully I'm in somebody's top 10 somewhere. And this was one of those instances. There were a handful of people who I definitely wanted to spend more time with, but they were kind of with their groups of people. And I don't begrudge them that at all. I'm glad they had a great time. I just selfishly would have liked to have spent more time with them myself. And I'm not going to name names or anything. I'm sure if they catch this, they're going to know who they are and they're going to feel guilty. And I don't feel guilty about that potential viewer, because it also made me realize that there were people there that I saw for a fleeting second and thought to myself, oh, I can't wait to get to visit with them a little bit more when things aren't as crazy and aren't as hectic, and then I never got around to it. So it's a two-way street. I definitely am guilty of it myself, where there were people that I wanted to spend more time with, but things just didn't align, and I didn't get to. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. It's just a sense of melancholy brought about by that, by feeling like it's incredible that the community's kind of grown to this point where even with 5 or 6 days in town and all these different community events kind of coordinated and scheduled and time dedicated to that I still don't get to see all the people that I want to see there. I got to see and meet a ton of new people, and that's amazing. But I wanted more, and part of it is I definitely felt like after like day 2 even I was drained, and so it took a while to kind of recharge my batteries out there, and I so I apologize if I ran into you at that point, and I apologize if I let anybody down in this sense that I'm feeling, where somebody feels that I didn't get to give them more time. There are definitely people that, again, I saw and I shared like a cordial greeting with, and I got excited about the prospect of spending more time with those people, but I failed too. I don't know if there's a big kind of end lesson to learn from this outside of I'm just trying to recognize and observe that this is a thing that happens at these events now that the community has grown to the point it has. I'm very blessed, of course, in that I've made enough friends in this community that people want to spend time with me, that I want to spend time with them. But naturally, it hurts that somebody who I might have been really looking forward to getting to see in this brief window of time where we were kind of all in person, that those people just kind of had their own other groups that they needed to see and needed to spend time with. And likewise on my behalf, I certainly tried to mingle and kind of make connections, and at the Kind of Funny events, I tried to walk the line and meet new people and say hi and kind of spend time with other people instead of just kind of falling back to my little core niche group of people. But I know that I certainly am just as guilty of kind of falling into familiar habits and the quote unquote cliques that I know the community sometimes kind of gets riled up about. For me, it's never coming from a place where I'm actively trying to keep somebody away, but I'm just not always great about inviting people into the circle. I try to be, but I know I'm certainly as fallible as anybody else. That's kind of the Kind of Funny live depression that I've been dealing with this week. It sucks, but it's a natural part of these kinds of experiences, I think. And I'm, again, not trying to put anybody on blast. I'm not trying to make anybody feel guilty. I'm trying to talk it out for myself, and hopefully in doing that, if you felt a similar experience at Kind of Funny Live, if you were fortunate enough to attend, you can maybe kind of put words to what you're going through right now as well. So that's it for this week's What I Feel Like Friday. I will kind of use this as a place to say that with E3, I fly out tomorrow for E3. The normal schedule of shows is going to go on a brief hiatus, and next week is pretty much going to be all E3. Next week's worth of videos. So don't kind of come back on next Friday expecting necessarily another What I Feel Like Friday. There will be reactions to the conferences. There will be reactions to what I'm seeing on the show floor and the week kind of as a whole. As always, thank you for tuning in. I've been your host, Trevor Starkey. You can follow me at SnarkyStarkey on Twitter. And until next time, from here at the Trove, treasure your friends.